What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Off the Bench. Of course, I'm your host, DeMarcus. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day today. Got a lot on the agenda today. We're going to be reviewing a lot of football. Week 3 just passed, so we're going to kind of do a recap of the week, recap of who impressed me the most, and then kind of look towards a few different things going on in the NFL. And then of course we're gonna tap into a little bit of basketball today. So man, y'all stay tuned for a great episode today. We got a lot to talk about. But before we get started, as always, man, I want to, of course, thank y'all for continue to watch, continue to support us. But before we move forward in this video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, and follow us on all of our other social medias, which is always listed down below. So let's get right into it. So first thing we got on the plate today, let's do a recap of week 3. Week 3 was, a very exciting week, had a lot of good games, a lot of guys stepped up because due to injuries, but then we had some situations going on, and I think a lot of people were surprised, but I really wasn't surprised by. And first thing we're going to talk about, so in week 3 you had the New York Jets take on the Patriots. You finally got to see Aaron Rodgers back at home on a primetime game, and the offense looked good. I mean, I think the running game between Allen and Bryce, I think, they got a 1-2 punch now, definitely starting to come together. Aaron Rodgers really starting to get, on the same page, chemistry starting to really build with his receivers, with Lazard. You got Wilson. And then, of course, you got Mike Williams. They're starting to really come together. And in the defense, they started really playing very, very well in that Thursday night game. So, like I said, that 24-3, win wasn't really surprising because you can just tell, and you're starting to see that, Aaron Rodgers is really starting to find himself in this offense, and they're looking good. So I was very impressed with how the Jets came out. You have the Cleveland Browns playing against the New York Giants. And New York Giants took that win. Of course, Deshaun Watson, the offense still struggled. You had Myles Garrett, he got hurt, got a foot injury. So the Browns they're in a tough spot. Then you had the Eagles go up against the Saints. The Saints offense finally got stalled out by defense because they've been kind of averaging, I believe, that between 40 and 45 points a game these first couple games. And the Eagles, it was a very, very slow, starting game. Both teams, defensively weren't really giving up much to the offenses. And then you finally got to see Saquon Barkley finally, take off because he had over 147 yards rushing, and then a few TDs. So they started to really get the run game going. And I know a lot of people were kind of upset with all the fourth down, attempts that the Eagles were attempting, but that's what they're known for. And plus with the way their offense has been playing, you got to build confidence somewhere. You got to, give you guys something to really, use as motivator that, hey, we're on the right trend and we're moving in the right direction. So, but that game was a very low scoring game, 15-12, the score ended up being, but overall great game. And then you had the Vikings dominate the Houston Texans, which, Sam Darnold, man, he is reincarnated because he finally has landed on a team. And I think this is another example of how the team, the offense, and the coaching matters for certain players. Because if you look at Sam Darnold when he was with Carolina, when he was with the Jets, being, a top 3 pick in the NFL draft, you would have thought, no, he can't be an NFL quarterback. He's going to be just a backup. And then you watch him go over to Minnesota. Of course, he wasn't supposed to be the starter, but now you've really saw him take control of the offense, take command of the offense, showing great leadership on that team. And I mean, he's leading the NFL in touchdowns right now, not turning the ball over. The run game is stout, and then you got the defense playing on all different cylinders and all different levels. Man, Minnesota's tough, and they end up walking away with that game 34-7. So it was shocking because Houston's defense, I thought they would have, play a little bit better, but I'm starting to notice that they're struggling in pass defense, rush defense. They're a little bit better, but on pass defense, they're struggling. So that game was good. And then you had the Denver Broncos going to Tampa Bay, 26-7. You had Bo Nix finally get his first touchdown as a rookie in the NFL. And then, of course, you start to see him get more comfortable as well, too, on the team. And then you had the Green Bay Packers going to Tennessee, dominated the Tennessee Titans 30-14. You saw Malik get a chance to go back against his former team that kind of gave up on him, and he was able to show him that he too can be good with the right situation. Then you had the Colts go up against the Bears, and very, like I said, very kind of methodical game, but the Colts end up running away with it 21-16. Not too much. Like I said, nothing that's going on with the Bears is really surprising to me. Like I said before in previous episodes, I truly believe that with the offensive weapons they have now, if they just could have given that to Justin Fields, I think Justin Fields, which we're going to get into Justin Fields here, very, very soon on what I, notice about him. And also I'm going to throw some at y'all to see, does he really compare to this other quarterback in the league? And if he don't, I want to know why. Somebody in the comments down below, let me know on why. But I'm going to get back on and we'll get right into that because that's the next team coming up. So, like I said, but yeah, with the Bears, I just think they, before, like I've always said, they gave up on Justin Fields way too soon. And I think with the offense that they have, they got some weapons. Of course, Keenan Allen is hurt, so I know they're missing that, kind of big reception receiver. Because, like I said, he last year with the Chargers, he led the league in, thrown at attempts and then, of course, receptions per game. So they're missing that and that veteran leadership. They're missing out on the field. So hopefully he'll come back here soon so they can get the offense kind of moving in a different direction. But what Caleb Williams has experienced, I think, is just the highs and lows of being in the NFL versus being in college, because the speed is different, the scheme's different, and people aren't afraid of you on the other side of the ball like they were in college. All right, so then we're moving on. We got the LA Chargers versus the Steelers. Once again, Steelers still remains undefeated, winning that game 20-10. Justin Herbert got hurt again with his ankle. I think, of course, just like any football player, any professional athlete, you want to, be on the field or be on the court or whatever sport you're playing as much as you can. But I think that injury to his ankle is a lot more serious than what people expected. So, that hurt him in that game. But of course, the Steelers defense right now, I think, is the best defense in the NFL, and they dominated again. So then moving on, you had the Seattle Seahawks versus Miami Dolphins. No surprise here that the Dolphins lost that game because without having Tua, the offense is, not the same. And, of course, Seahawks, they have a good offense and they got a solid defense. But staying on the Dolphins, man, with Tua going through the concussion that he experienced last game and now he's out for several weeks, I just truly believe that, this is my personal opinion, I think football might need to be done for him just because every time he has these concussions, it's worse than the last concussion. And I understand he signed a big contract. I understand that he's a, good quarterback. But I think now, more importantly, we got to be thinking about, sustainability for the rest of his life, what the rest of his life's going to look like. But I know he's probably going to come back. I know he said, I've been seeing stories saying that, he hasn't ruled out coming back. But I just think, given the circumstances of what he's experienced with these concussions, I just think it's time now to think about life after football more than football. Because it's a scary sight to see, man, when you see somebody get hit on the field. Because we know football is a violent, gladiator sport. We all know that. And these guys are literally laying their lives on the line when they go out there to perform, not only for us as fans, but of course perform for their owners, perform for the money that they're getting paid. So I get all that. But right now, when you see Tua get hit, and you see his fingers and you see everything lock up on him on the field, I just personally think it's time to start really considering life without football, because the more concussions that he keeps sustaining, the more damage that he can possibly take. And I know people say, well, DeMarcus, you're not a doctor. No, everybody has opinions on this are not doctors. Let the doctors tell him what he should do. I completely agree and understand that. But at the same time, optics wise, just looking at it, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good to see him on the field like that. It doesn't look good to see him staggering and barely can walk off the field. So I'm just looking at it as just a person just seeing someone go through something that looks like it's awful for him. So But we'll have to wait and see. I know he's out for the next several weeks, so I don't expect the Dolphins to really do much. I know they've signed another quarterback, but I don't really see them being able to do much without them having Tua at the quarterback. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, I have to be honest, I'm a little pissed because of this, Tyreek Hill, he didn't do well in fantasy for me. But I digress from that. But yeah, that kind of messed me up because I need him to do well in fantasy. So, but moving on, you had the Panthers go up against the Raiders, which once again another quarterback change on this team. You watch the Panthers go up into Las Vegas and pretty much dominate the Raiders. And this is coming off of the benching of Bryce Young. And kind of talking about Bryce a little bit, I know Tom Brady came out and said it perfectly. I think the NFL, and I get the game has changed, and I get that, offensively it's about scoring points and really moving the ball around. The running game is kind of, going away. Fullback positions kind of going away. But I think so many young players are getting put into these situations coming from college, going into the draft and getting drafted at a high spot, and they get put in these bad situations where the teams aren't the best, the coaching is not the greatest, it's not stable because you got coaches getting fired or leaving, going other places every year. So I just think Bryce Young just hasn't been in a very, good environment where he can thrive in. Now, I'm not saying that he shouldn't get better. He should definitely still get better. Even in that kind of environment, I know it's very tough, but when you're on that level and you have that type of confidence and belief in yourself, you got to do little things that can help you get better until you can either get more players around you or possibly go somewhere else and have opportunity to do better. Just like I was talking about Sam Darnold. You watch him struggle in Carolina, struggle in New York, and then now go into Minnesota and he's thriving. So same thing for Bryce. I just think, and Tom Brady, like I said again, said it best. So many young players are being put in and they're not being coached. They're not being really groomed to be a starting quarterback. They're just getting thrown into the mix and saying, all right, look, go save the franchise. And a lot of these guys are not able to do that. I mean, even Tom Brady himself, he was, groomed. He had Drew Bledsoe in front of him. You look at Aaron Rodgers, he had Brett Favre in front of him. You look at, all these other quarterbacks that's come in the game and were great quarterbacks. Steve Young, in San Francisco when he took over. Like the guys that come in behind these guys, I mean, they do well because they have a chance to really learn. They have a chance to really see the game, see the process, how much different it is from college versus, I'm the number one pick, so now I got to be the savior of the franchise. And I don't have the tools and I don't have the players or the veteran players in the locker room that can kind of groom me in the right direction. Because when you're number one pick and then you look at the person that's behind you, yeah, he might be in the league for a while, but you're looked at more of the savior than he is. So it's an unfortunate situation for Bryce Young because I believe he's a solid quarterback. I just think, I know he's undersized, just like Russell Wilson and just like Drew Brees and other guys. And when I say undersized, I'm talking about height, but as also too build wise. I know Bryce Young, he's a kind of frail type of quarterback, so I know that weighs on him, especially when he's getting, tackled by these D-line linebackers who are 250 pounds, 300 pounds, 350 pounds. So I know that plays a lot on his mind. I know that fear factor of getting hit probably weighs on him and makes it difficult for him to be successful at the quarterback. But you see the difference. I mean, right away you had Andy Dalton come in and they put up 36 points. Against the Las Vegas Raiders. And that shows you right there, this, the command that Andy Dalton has, the respect that he has for the players that have for him. And, that plays a huge part because when the locker room doesn't believe in the guy, that a lot of guys just don't go out there and play hard. But when they know they got a guy that's going to go out there and at least put them in a position to have a chance to win, then you just see guys play different. So seeing, 36-22, and then you had the Rams against the 49ers. The 49ers was dominating that game. It was a very good game. They dominated pretty much for 3.5 quarters, and all of a sudden the Rams got together, ended up pulling it off, and winning 27-24. Now I know with San Francisco, they're undermanned. They're missing some key pieces. CMC. They're missing Debo. They're missing Kittle. Sorry. But without that, I feel like Greg Jennings had a amazing game. Had 3 touchdowns. He did everything he could. But I'm trying to figure out what are they doing with Brandon Ayuk, because Brandon Ayuk is nowhere to be found. He's nowhere to be found on the field. All I ever see him doing now is just blocking. But you just paid this man all this money, and I don't see the offense. Like, you didn't have Debo, you didn't have Kittle, you don't have CMC. He's the next big name on the roster. So they got to figure out a way to use him. I mean, defensively they're stout, but at the same time, it's like, where is Brandon Ayuk? That's why you signed him to that extension, is to have another wide receiver that can tote the load if you don't have Debo, if you don't have Kittle. But I don't get it. I don't know what they're doing with him. I don't know if I don't know what's going on, but they got to figure that out. Then you got Detroit against Arizona. Detroit took that game 20-13. And then you got my game of the week, or my game of the day, the Ravens versus the Cowboys. I just want everybody to just take a moment to let it sink in. The Cowboys are who they are. I saw a quote the other day, and I thought it was the best thing ever. The Cowboys that we see today in this season, it's just rinse and repeat. That's all it is. Every year we hear about how they have this amazing, offense, how they got all these defensive weapons. We hear this every single season. And then next thing you know, they come out and they underperform every single year. I get it. The score itself, 28, what was it? 28-25. The score itself was a lot closer at the end than what the game actually was reflecting or showing, because the Ravens dominated the game, the entire game. And just like, last couple weeks, they hit this wall, and all of a sudden they let teams back into games, because that game was 28-6. And then, of course, Dak started slinging the ball. Like I said, he had 3 touchdowns, but to me, it's all in trash minutes of the game. It's not really in the heat of the thumping. It's not in the heat of that. It's always, y'all already down by 4 touchdowns, and then Dak just get throwing the ball over the field. And for whatever reason, the defense that they're playing, they start playing soft. They stop really putting pressure on him. They stop really guarding the wide receivers. I don't get it. But the Cowboys, it's rinse and repeat. They got all these, CeeDee Lambs. They got all the Daks. They got all the Micah. They got all the pieces that everybody talks about every single year. You just watch Dak, once again, like we talked about on the last episode, get $231 million guaranteed. You watch CeeDee Lamb get a big contract, and then go out there. CeeDee Lamb's not catching. He's out there fussing and cussing at everybody on the sideline, but he's not catching the ball, and he's not doing anything offensively. And I get it. Dak a lot of times tries to force the ball to him, which I can't stand watching that. I don't know why they can't put him in spots that really highlights his abilities and gives him, good opportunity to get the ball. It's always throwing the ball into double coverage, triple coverage. You come across the middle, 4 or 5 guys trying to, it just doesn't make sense. They can't run the ball. They can't stop the run. They can't stop. There is no level of football that we can honestly say the Cowboys are good at. There is none. So, I get the Cowboy fans out there. I know you love, but every year we talk about the Cowboys like they should be some great team, but they are who they are. They're not going to be no better or worse than what they are. They're not. And it's not all the coaching all the time. Now, the coaching might not be the best, but like I say, as a pro, your job is go out there and get it done anyway. Go out there and get it done anyway, or get something moving in the right direction that says that y'all are going to get it right eventually. And then I don't agree with the guys, after the game, talking to the press and really, pointing the finger at certain things, but not really being clear on those certain things. And I look at, defensively, it's like, hey, Micah, like, What are y'all doing? What are you doing? You're not stopping the run. You're not putting pressure on the quarterback. Y'all not guarding nobody. Y'all got to figure that out. But once again, I'm not a Cowboys fan, so it don't really bother me that they're losing and doing what they're doing. But it just, I don't understand the uproar of people that are so disappointed in how the Cowboys are playing. They are who they are. They've been this way for since Dak Prescott has been the quarterback of this franchise. They have not achieved anything. They've achieved a lot of publicity, but that's because of Jerry Jones. That ain't got nothing to do with the football team. That's because of Jerry Jones and what he says and what he does, for that franchise is what got them, being talked about. But yeah, it's rinse and repeat for the Cowboys. Hashtag that, rinse and repeat. That's all it is, man. They are who they are. They don't surprise me. Now, on the other side of the ball with Baltimore, y'all have got to figure out a way to stop letting people back in the game. And a lot of that starts with your pass defense. Your run defense is pretty good. People aren't running the ball all over the field on you. But as for guarding people in the pass, y'all are not good at that right now. And then, with Derrick, y'all finally did use Derrick Henry the way you're supposed to. Keep doing that. Keep using him in the run game, wearing on these other defenses, and then of course it opens up the pass for Lamar to get everybody else going. So, but yeah, Baltimore looked good for 3.5 quarters. Then of course for a quarter and a half, just looked like they didn't know what was going on. And then you had the Chiefs go up against the Falcons. And like I said, very kind of stagnant game, but they end up pulling it off 22-17. Once again, Kirk Cousins struggled, offensively to get anything going. Now, they had a great opening drive with him and Drake London executing a touchdown or passing touchdown in the first drive. Run game started off pretty good. But then all of a sudden, they just offensively, they couldn't figure out what Kansas City was doing defensively. They was throwing out a lot of different schemes, a lot of different, looks of when it looks like the blitz was coming, then they drop back into zone coverage. And I think Cousins just couldn't really figure it out. And plus, I think he's still dealing with that Achilles, which is affecting his ability to get out of the pocket and kind of see what's going on and put himself in better spots to find his receivers. I think he's still strong with that. But you had the Chiefs once again stay undefeated and win that game 22-17. You had the two Monday night games, which I have to be honest was the Bills game. The Bills versus Jags shocked me because it was like they got ran over very quickly. Like Jacksonville couldn't do anything against Buffalo, and I don't know what was going on with that game, but you had 47-10 thumping there, and then you had the Commanders go into Cincinnati and beat the Cincinnati Bengals 38-33. And that rounds out, week three's games. Now, I will say, just to kind of go back into, the Commanders, man, I'm highly impressed with what I'm seeing with Jayden Daniels. I'm highly impressed. It's literally like he looks like how he did at LSU. It's like they took that offense and brought it to Washington, and he's thriving in it. I mean, from his RPOs to the throwdown. I mean, he threw a beautiful pass to Scary Terry down the field. I mean, every level of football he's doing. I mean, of course, the run, which I would like for him to do a little more sliding than getting hit like he is, because he is a kind of I mean, he's a tall guy, but I think he's only like 215. He's not a very heavy quarterback. So I know over the long term of this season, that's going to really weigh him down. So I would really like for him to not run the ball as much, because we don't want an RG3 situation where you just keep running, and get yourself hurt. So, but I think what he's doing with the Commanders, man, is great. And then the run game is pretty good. I mean, defensively, they playing pretty good. So I like what I see for the Washington Commanders. I think Jayden Daniels is definitely being worth all the money on what he's provided to the team. He impressed me a ton in that game, because even though Cincinnati was making a comeback, he was able to hold on to it and score again and of course keep that lead. But he impressed me. But the one player this week that impressed me the most was Justin Fields. And I want to ask y'all a question before I go into why he impressed me the most out of everybody playing. Is Justin Fields as good as Lamar Jackson? Y'all let me know. Comment down below. Is he as good as Lamar Jackson based off what we're seeing him do right now and what we're seeing Lamar Jackson do right now? Is he just as good? Y'all let me know. But to get back into it, I was very impressed and most impressed by Justin Fields because, man, I'm just watching this guy be what he could have been in Chicago if they would have really, really used him in the right way. I mean, like I said, now he's not, stuffing the stats, which no quarterback really is stuffing stats. I mean, this year, I want to say the passing yards is at an all-time low when it comes to passing yards. Now, that could be the defenses have just really gotten better, or it could be that just the quarterbacks are just not throwing the ball as well as they normally do this particular season, early into the season. Now, so we still got a lot of season left. That could change, but right now it's trending to be the lowest passing yards in a long, long time. But back to Justin Fields, I mean, Justin Fields not turning the ball over. He's not taking, unnecessary sacks. I can really see the game is finally starting to slow down. And he's starting to make sound decisions with the pass. He's making sound decisions on when to, tuck the ball and run. And it's working. It's working, man. And he looks like a very solid quarterback. Now, the trouble they're going to get into is when Russell Wilson becomes healthy again. Do you go back? Do you take Justin Fields out? I think Mike Tomlin is one of the smartest coaches in the league right now. I don't think he'll make that move, even though there will be pressures from the media, which he don't really get involved with, which I love when he talks about the collective. I love hearing Mike Tomlin. I'll watch TV all day long if I can see Mike Tomlin at the podium talking to the press and the media. But I don't think he's gonna conform what they're doing to meet what everybody else is going to say. You need to put Russell Wilson in. I just think it's one of the situations, kind of like a Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady. It's like, hey, Drew Bledsoe, you was the guy. You got hurt. Tom came in. He's played solid. There's no reason to take him out. Let's see how far this thing can go. And I'm watching defense play lights out. I'm watching the offense. They're not scoring a ton of points, but if you've known anything about Pittsburgh, you look at all the Ben Roethlisberger's days, the offense don't need to score a ton of points. It needs to score anywhere from 17 to probably about 28 points, and then the defense gonna take care of the rest. So I think what they're doing, with Justin is amazing. So Justin, I would say player of the week. I would definitely give it to him because he impressed me the most, man. Just watching what he's doing. I hate that he wasn't able to blossom in Chicago like he's doing in Pittsburgh, but just like with Andy Dalton, just like with Brock Purdy, just like with a lot of guys, it's the right system. You get the best out of the guys that are quarterbacking. So, man, it's definitely good, and I'm glad to see that Justin Fields is getting the like I said, I don't see a lot of people giving him a ton of respect, but I think as he continued to put together these games like he's been putting together, eventually it will come. But I got a lot of respect for Justin and what he's doing in Pittsburgh. I think it's great. It's a great story. Glad to see it, man, because you love to see guys, finally get put in a situation where they got a coach that believes in them, and two, they're able to really display their skill and put themselves in a good spot. So, but no, shout out to Justin Fields. I think he's doing an amazing job. And then also I wanted to tap into, a college conversation. So Deion Sanders, recently came out. Now last week they ended up winning their game in an overtime thriller. It was amazing. Like I said, I watched that game. I was up till 11 o'clock at night watching it. Craziest thing I ever seen. For them to come back and then to the tying score to be, a Hail Mary from the 50-yard line. And it was exciting. I can't deny it. Very exciting, very, very thrillful game, if that's a word. Very, very good game to watch. But back to Deion. So he came out and he was talking about how the media is, I guess, I don't want to misquote him, but I want to summarize it to, the media is attacking college players, and they never did that before. And this is, he thinks that a lot of those, the guys and girls in media are jealous of these players because they're making all this money and all these things, having all these opportunities and all that. But let's just be honest. I disagree with Deion in this regard. Yes, I understand that prior to what we are now, prior to the NIL era, that a lot of players were protected because they're young and they're kids. So you want to say, hey, man, you can't really be on kids like that, and really attack them for or criticize them for their play or what they're doing and all that. But we don't live in that time no more, because just like we keep saying the game is changing, the NIL's changed the criticism level, because now you're a professional. You got, somebody like Shedeur, who's his son, who makes, millions of dollars in his NIL's deal, which is nothing wrong with that. He deserves the opportunity to maximize his earning potential based off of his likeness and his name and what, what he represents. But there's guys in the league, in the NFL, that are not making that type of money. That's not making millions, 3, 4, 5 millions of dollars in the NFL. So they're on a pro level now. So when you're talking about college guys and college girls who are making this type of money, that's a pro level athlete. So as a pro level athlete, there's scrutiny and there's criticism that comes with that. And Deion, when you went to Colorado, when he went there, that's what came with it. When you got all these big name people on the sidelines, you got Warren Sapp on your staff, you got Terrell Owens helping out. I mean, when you got all these NFL guys that come to this program with you to help you, the microscope's going to be pointed on top of you, and people are going to have good and bad things to say, and that's just what comes with the territory. And as a player, Deion, he flashy guy, loved his style, loved his swag, loved his confidence. So, and of course he wasn't in a social media era and NIL, era, but everything that kids are doing now, he was doing back then. And it's just part of that comes with territory of being great. You're going to get criticized. And I don't think that nobody in media has really attacked them to the level of where it was, it was out of bounds. I think it's always just been about the game and what they're playing and how they're playing, what they're doing on both sides of the football. And I think that's what it really boiled down to. And I just don't agree with that. Don't get me wrong. On my platform and on a lot of platforms that talk sports and talk about things, we have some people that are always negative and always saying things and, like I say, bad at their job or bad at, what they represent. That's in every level of, anything. No matter what the industry is, you're going to have bad apples, walking around. But the majority of people are not doing that. So you got to focus on the majority, not so much the minority of small percentage of people that might be saying some, about it. Now, I don't agree with the media getting personal with these athletes. Don't agree with that. If you're getting personal, which I know Shedeur, he had a situation where the Colorado State quarterback was on, social media saying some personal things and trying to attack him in that way. I don't agree with that. So I understand his attitude towards that quarterback, not want to shake his hand. I get that. I know some people would say, well, you still shake his hand, just have good sportsmanship. I understand that. But at the end of the day, when it gets personal and you try to take it there, some people just not going to, react to that well. And their reaction to it, not being well is, hey, I'm just not going to shake his hand. I'm not going to do anything to him, but I'm just not going to show him the honor and respect of shaking his hand. So, but yeah, I just don't think that Colorado, I mean, you look at any athlete in college that has a name for themselves, that's what comes with being that spotlight player, is that you're going to have people that criticize your game. They're going to tell you when you're not playing good, but they're going to also applaud you and honor you when you're playing well. And Shedeur is one of the top quarterbacks in college right now, and going to be a top prospect or top pick along with Travis Hunter when he go to the NFL next year. So, and that's not going to stop there, because when he go to NFL, it's going to be the same thing, especially if he goes to a team that's not a good team. So it doesn't stop. It's only going to elevate from here. The scrutiny and the criticism that he's going to receive is going to come even into the NFL. So when you're on a what I like to say pro level, especially when you earn that type of money as a college athlete, it comes with territory. So I think Deion was a little off bounds with talking about. Now, are there people in the media that are probably jealous of players making all that money? It's possible. It is possible. That's not something you can weigh out. But like I said, that's a minute number of people that have that type of envy towards a kid that's only maximizing earning potential off of what he's putting on the field. So that's, like I said, once again, minute amount of people. So, but I just thought that was, I want to throw that in there because like I said, as a person that's part of media who tries to build my platform and try to, be critical, but at the same time, not be personal and not be just hating on people, but just bring different aspects and look at the game itself and try to, educate if I can, or just have a conversation starter, with the topic. So I try to remember that, and because like I said, I'm always for the athletes, protecting the athletes and promoting athletes. Because as a former athlete, I want to see everybody in these different sports, thrive and have an opportunity to do whatever it is they want to do with the sport. Now let's transition to private equity firms. So there's been a lot of private equity firms coming out and getting involved in the NFL by, buying into teams. And I wanted to ask the question, is that good or bad for the NFL? All these private equity firms, these multi-billion-dollar firms that are now coming into the NFL and getting a part of ownership. My personal opinion, I would say it's so far so good. We have to wait and see what the future holds. But I think with these firms coming in, of course, you're going to start to see, the contracts get bigger and bigger and bigger. But then also you're going to start to see more expansion of NFL teams, and then you're going to start seeing the global impact. As you see, we're in Germany, Mexico. We just went to Brazil. So like you're going to start to see, because of these firms getting in there, you're going to start to see more of that, which is going to make the sport even more global, which is going to make the sport bigger, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. And these firms, they're not going to get involved with the NFL if they don't see a huge opportunity to take the NFL to the next level and then just make more money for themselves. So, but y'all let me know, y'all comment down below, do you think the private equity firms getting involved in ownership of these NFL teams and being a part of NFL, if it's good or bad for the NFL? And then my last thing I will go into for football, this cold tub era. What's going on with that, man? Y'all tell me what's going on. We've seen a lot of people getting all excited about cold tubs. You have Harbert from LA Chargers. He jumping into the cold tub with, his clothes on. He made a good point though. Whether you have clothes on or you don't have clothes on, it's cold. So, and there's a lot of benefit to cold tubs. I'm a huge proponent for cold tub because it definitely helps with recovery. It definitely helps with blood flow. It helps with a lot of different areas that, you can continue to, play at your maximum level whenever you're using cold tubs. So, but I just wondering, there's been a lot of talk and a lot of, social media posts about people jumping in these cold tubs. So I just wondering, but y'all let me know what you think about this cold tub area. Or are you a cold tub fan? Would you jump in a cold tub? Have you ever done it? I've done it. It's not that bad, but I just know it is cold. That is one thing. It is cold. And before I get out of here, I wanted to, as always, thank y'all for watching and, continue to support. But let's switch to let's switch to the NBA real quick, and then, like I said, we're gonna get out of here. So Adrian Woj is retiring. If you don't know who he is a NBA insider, one of the senior insiders for the NBA. He's retiring from ESPN, and he's going to be the GM of St. Bonaventure, which, congratulations, Woj. I've been following him on, Twitter, Instagram, for a long time. So I just want to give a lot of respect to him. He's one of those guys that, hey, whenever he drops when he drops some news, it's the real thing. It's happening. And the relationships that he's created in this, in the game, and everybody that's entrusted him with a lot of information over the years, man, I'm gonna miss not seeing that come across my timeline. I'm gonna miss not seeing that, come across the screen of him, breaking news, because he's one of the guys, man, that you just always knew when he had some information, it was gonna be rock solid. So, but congratulations to him, because that's his former school he went to. So for him to be a GM at that school, I know it's going to definitely help that program start moving in the direction that they're trying to. And with his name and his connection and his relationship that they have, I know he's going to be able to bring more attention and bring more people into that program that allows that program to start thriving. So congratulations to Adrian Woj. And man, I look forward to seeing what he does at St. Bonaventure. And then finally, what did y'all think of Embiid's extension? Y'all let me know. Do you think it was deserved, or do you think it was, not deserved? I think it's. I know they haven't really done much with Embiid. They haven't really got over the hump just yet with him. I know they've been in some quarterfinals and semifinals in the Eastern Conference, but they just haven't made it to the championship yet. But I can't deny Embiid, when healthy, is, one of the best players in the NBA, not just centers, one of the best players in the NBA. So I think, I'm always happy to see players get their money. So I definitely am happy he got the money. I just don't know if it really moves the needle, or if they kind of stay stagnant where they are. We have to wait and see. I mean, with them getting Paul George, Maxey, and then you got Embiid, man. Who knows? You just got to wait and see it. And it really matters if Paul George and Embiid can be healthy all season. We know Maxey, he's been reliable, he's been consistent, he's been there, hasn't really gotten hurt like that. He just got a new extension. Congratulations to him as well. You had Paul George get his money to come to Philadelphia because the Clippers didn't want to give him the money, and then now you see Embiid get an extension. So They got, just like every team that's trying to, get to that next level, and they're bringing in these top tier players. A lot of guys are getting money, which is great, but now it's time to perform and time to, and get the results that everybody's wanting. It's trying to show up. It's time to get to the finals. I know they got a big task ahead of them, because you got Boston over there, but with the team or with the players that they have acquired, and then with the offseason signing that they have gotten with Paul George, they have the pieces in place to be able to compete. But now it's time to go out there and do it. So we have to wait and see this season. The season is fast upon us. We only have a few more weeks before the NBA season is back, which I'm excited for, because I'm ready to talk basketball again. Haven't really seen too much, summertime really, because, you had the Summer Olympics this year. So a lot of guys were going for that. So I'm excited for basketball, college basketball to come back around. And then we're going to have football, baseball, about to get into the postseason. And, shout out to Shinobi on doing something that as long as I've been alive, I've never seen a player do this, have 50 plus home runs, 50 plus stolen bases. I want to say he's the first player in MLB history to ever do that. So that's amazing. So I'm excited for October, because baseball playoffs are coming around. So we'll get more into those matchups and what's going on with those games. So, man, as always, we want to thank y'all for watching. Continue to support the channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this content, share this video before you leave, and then comment down below and let us know what you thought about today's episode. Also, follow us on all of our other social medias. Our Instagram's been going crazy with the videos. Our TikToks going crazy. So we want to thank y'all for supporting us on our platform, but continue to support us, like us, subscribe to us, share on those platforms as well too. But until next time, man, y'all have a great day. Peace.